I'm not gonna lie, this breakfast is kind of absurd. It started off as a bowl of Bran Flakes and just kept evolving. There's a lot going on, but it ticks a bunch of really good boxes in terms of fibre, protein, nutrients and taste. You don't need to include all of these ingredients. Pick and choose the bits you like. Let's make it. It takes me about 10 to 15 minutes to prepare, and I found that treating it like a production line gets the job done faster. Bran Flakes, 30 grams and 10 grams of all bran, lots of lovely fibre. Pea protein powder, unsweetened, about 15 grams. This does change the taste and thickens everything up, so start with a bit less if you haven't tried it before. A 10 gram serving contains 8 grams of protein. A spoonful of sunflower and pumpkin seeds for vitamin E and magnesium. 1 heaped teaspoon of psyllium husk for fibre. It looks exactly like sawdust and turns into a gel when mixed with water. For the purposes of research, I had little taste. I wouldn't recommend it. You won't taste it in the breakfast though. My bowel loves this stuff, but we're in double fibre territory now and we haven't even got to the fruit yet. If psyllium husk is new to you, ease yourself in. Going from 0 to 100 with fibre can lead to some turbulence. A large handful of walnuts and almonds for healthy fats, antioxidants and all kinds of nutrients, plus more protein and fibre. 80 grams of yoghurt. We're layering up the protein here. Greek for col, I have goat's yoghurt and add a bit less. The fruit varies, but most days we have around 60 grams of blueberries each and a small handful of raspberries. Blackberries are a new find and, like raspberries, they're low on the glycemic index, so they're great for Cole, who's type 1 diabetic. If mango's in season, it's lovely with berries and makes the bowl look really cheerful. We don't add loads as it has a higher glycemic index. Same with bananas, we'll share one rather than having one each. Finish with a drizzle of peanut butter. I found this squeezy bottle a few years ago and it reminds me of the chocolate sauce that you drizzle onto ice cream, but this one is made from 100% peanuts. And finally, chia seeds. They've always looked a bit creepy to me. I meant to delicately scatter rather than hoof them in, but it's all the same in the end. Now we add milk, whatever you like. I go for a mixture of goat and soy. And we are done. If you're thinking, who on earth has time for all that? I hear you. Like I said, it's a lot. We're motivated to make it for a few reasons. Firstly, we've nailed this breakfast in terms of Cole taking insulin. That's why we weigh everything, so it's pretty much the same every time. It's really filling, and I don't get hungry mid-morning. It tastes wonderful. It is like when I started fermenting kefir. I've got a video on that, by the way. Suddenly regular smoothies tasted boring to me, and it's the same with this breakfast. A plain bowl of cereal or porridge isn't the same anymore. Finally, it just feels like a good way to start the day. It really kickstarts digestion, especially if you have it with a cup of coffee. We know now that breakfast isn't necessarily the most important meal of the day. That is just marketing from cereal companies. I don't do well without it though. I've only skipped breakfast once that I can remember, sometime back in 2013, and it threw my whole day off. So it's a non-negotiable for me. Okay, some variations. Blackberries and strawberries are a combination that we eat a fair bit. I try to go for fruits that don't need too much prep. Strawberries have to be hulled, but they're not as demanding as cherries where the stones have to be painstakingly removed. Ripe donut peaches are always welcome and they're fairly quick to prepare. This bowl has macadamia nuts, nature's most underrated nut according to Brian Johnson. I'm doing a better job with the seeds here. Banana, cinnamon and apple, or maybe a pear. This tastes gorgeously autumnal and works really well with the nuts, especially pecans. I'm aware that this isn't the cheapest breakfast with the fruit, nuts, seeds and protein powder. We buy in bulk as much as possible and get the supermarket's own brand of cereal. Broken nuts are a win for 2 reasons. They're cheaper and you don't need to chop them. Frozen fruit would work and it's also cheaper. Plus, if you get cherries, the stones have already been taken out. Defrost in the fridge overnight if possible. If you're someone who likes to prepare breakfast in advance, like say overnight oats, all the dried stuff can be sorted out beforehand. Then, in the morning, you just add fruit, yoghurt and milk. Again, choosing fruits that don't need to be chopped helps too. All right, all done. It looks lovely, but it will not look so lovely when we stir it all up. That's not the point though. Do you try to balance your breakfast? Would you ever try this, or would you rather spend longer in bed? I wouldn't blame you. I got the idea for the protein element of this breakfast from the Arnold Schwarzenegger newsletter. It's called the Pump Club, and I'll link to it in the description. It covers all pillars of good health, not just protein and weightlifting. The writers are building a positive corner of the internet, and it's a really good read. Anyway, thanks for watching and see you in the next video.